If you can read my mind, because we're just one. Good morning. Wow, wow, wow. Some new faces, some old new faces, some new faces. Oh. I am the young Reverend Joanne Faith, Peace and Love Boruck, in case you were wondering. Thank you, Reverend Vera. And welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Red Deer. As I was coming up today, I know that Edith had asked me about a song, and I thought, I'm just going to come up and say, come in and sit down. You are a part of the family. That's it. And now I invite you to join me in body, mind, and spirit consciousness as I speak these words of affirmation. Let's open ourselves up to our greater good, our higher consciousness, our greatest truth. If you wish, you can close your eyes and embrace these words as your own. I do speak them in the first person, but I know they are the truth for everyone here who claims it as theirs. There is only one love, one light, one peace, one power, one purpose, one joy and health. This is the truth of our Creator, I call God. And it is the truth of me. I am love, light, peace, power, purpose, joy, and health. And I embrace this as my faith and my life. My faith in self and others shields and protects me, and my way is made safe and sure. I live my outer life from a place of love, which is my inner life. As within, so without. As above, so below. With thanksgiving from this place of peace, I say thank you for this center, for the opportunity to create a space and energy of healing and grace, for Ernest Holmes and his faith and wisdom. There is so very much to be grateful for. I wrap it in the light of love and simply say thank you. With abiding confidence and faith, I release my word into the all-knowing one, where it is acted upon, returned, and multiplied. And in harmony we say, and so it is. So this month, February, is all about love. What a great word. There's so many aspects to love. You know, there's self-love, there's love of others, there's spiritual love, emotional love, physical love. And so that was the idea behind my talk. Fear to faith to love. And you'll see as it unfolds that I came to an understanding that you can't go from fear to love without going through that path of faith. And through that journey of faith, it brought me to a place of being able to accept love. I'm looking at Lena because I know that we've walked this path together through fear into faith and into love. And then now love's my new middle name, Joanne Faith, peace and love. So, you know, everything happens for a reason. I want to quote something from Ernest Holmes, his book called Effective Prayer. He says, if you could see the object of your fear, just until you really understand it, it would no longer have any effect on you. You can do this to the degree where you become aware of the power greater than I are, that I am, that I are. He says, you are all divinely guided and protected. And if you establish an understanding of that, that is the way through fear into faith. Do you know there's steps to releasing? And ancient teachings are our body knows more than our mind. So as at the end of today, we're going to do a releasing prayer with our bodies, but I want you to just do it sitting there right now. I want you to put your hands on your heart and open your right hand. I release the past and I'll allow the healing power of love into my heart. And when I'm done, we'll do a couple of prayers of things that we need to release and allow the truth that God is, the love that we are. When I was thinking about fear and love, I really was reminded about this story. And you maybe heard it before. It's a Cherokee story. And it's about an indigenous boy who goes to an elder. And he says to the elder, "Grandfather," he says, "there's a battle going on inside me. It's a battle between two wolves, and they live inside of me." And the elder says, "My son, the battle between two wolves, one is fear. That represents anger and jealousy, sorrow, regret. And the other one's love. And it represents joy and peace and serenity." And he says, "Well, grandfather, which one wins?" And the grandfather says, "The one you feed." So that was really a message to me. What are you feeding? Man, in the world right now, I have never been so aware of fear. And why are we feeding it? You turn on the TV, they're telling you about it. This morning I was hearing about what a terrible hockey game and how the refs were. And, it was just like fear, fear, fear. What about the joy? We're the second best hockey team in the world. And I want to give them a hand. And we all talk about, we have the good and the bad side. And so now when you're struggling with some thoughts that are fearful, or you're walking into some place and you're not comfortable, starve that and feed yourself some faith. At first I was pretty confused when I started writing about it, because I always thought faith and fear were opposites. But do you know they're the very same, the same energy, and it comes from a thought. So you only have to have 51% faith to eliminate fear. I thought I had to be like 98% perfect. I was pretty sure before I was going to be called faithful. But no, God just asks us, have 51% more on this shoulder than this one. That's all it takes. Creator will do all the rest. And the reason that they're both the same is because fear and faith start with a thought. And it starts with a thought, and then it becomes an emotion. That's when it starts to take control of you. So we can't stop it then. We got to stop it the minute we have the thought. And that's why I really loved this exercise about I release and I allow the healing power into my life. And that journey from fear to faith to love, that's not to be taken lightly. Many of us, including me, I jumped past that second part. I went from fear to love. I was afraid to be alone. I was afraid to be broke. So I surrounded myself and I gave away all the love that I could give, and it didn't work. I don't know if it worked for you, but I thought that if I had this good relationship, and not just men, women too, you create all these relationships because, oh my gosh, I'm too fearful. I'm too fearful of being alone. But that doesn't work, because until you have faith in yourself, faith in truth, all the love you give away is not coming back because you've got a block there. So love, I often wondered what that meant when love is not enough. Do you know what it means? It's not enough because you don't love yourself. There's 3 paths to love: fear, faith, and love. And there is no shortcut. If you think you can go right from faith to love, you probably can now because you're a lot of spiritual beings here. You just have to choose. Which 2? Do you want fear and faith and fear and faith and fear and faith? And ironically, my granddaughter is wearing a shirt today with Psalms on the back, and it says, fear to faith. And so, I looked that up in the scripture. I thought, what exactly are the words in there? Because I really think that that's only part of the equation. So where is that? I took this picture and I downloaded the new app and now I can't find anything. Yeah, just have faith. In Psalms 56:3 it says, when I'm afraid, I put my trust in you. A powerful declaration of choosing faith over fear during times of crisis. And it was written by David when he was captured in Gath. And so it really, you know how you just can get your head wrapped around something? I thought, oh yeah, fear to faith, that's not true. You need love. You can't go just from faith to love. And then I read that and I thought, well, maybe love and faith are the same thing. So I haven't really, the jury's still out on that. In my mind, there's fear, there's faith, and there's love. And that is the way. Ernest Holmes says law is the way, which means our mind always delivers what we think. That's a law. And love is the way. So I think love is the way. So remember, you can choose fear and faith, or you can choose fear and faith and love, or you can choose faith and love. So let's choose that. Let's get rid of that one. Let's just choose faith and love. And I have felt a lot of fear in my life. And a lot of you don't know, I got pregnant when I was 15, and my mother was going to send me to this unwed mother's home in Toronto, give the baby away. My sister saved me. I kept my son. He's 53 now. It's just been like the greatest joy and the greatest struggle and the most fear. I feared poverty. I feared rejection. I feared abuse. All of it. And guess what happened? Because I was fearing it, guess what happened? I experienced poverty. I experienced rejection. I experienced abuse. Because fear has the same energy as faith. Why didn't I have faith in myself that I was enough? That's when things changed. When I started coming here and I realized, hey, nobody can change it but me. Oh, okay. So whenever I had that fearful thought, I'd change it to faith. I'd say, I'm enough. I have faith that I have enough. I have faith in abundance. I have faith that I'm safe. I have faith that I'm loved. And here I stand today, loved and loving. I am enough. And I wanted to talk about those things, about fear, faith, and love, because when we do our exercise, you'll really see how important it is, how important fear, faith, and love work together. Yeah, I've talked a lot about our thoughts are creative energy, and they cause feelings, they cause emotions, and they manifest into your life. So when something's going on in your life you're not happy about and you're feeling rejected, you're not going to fix it there. You're going to first fix the emotion where you have faith, and then you're going to fix the thought that says, I don't need to fix anything because it's not me. It's the power within that does the work. And some people might say, oh, I don't experience fear. Well, I'm not talking about danger from a tiger. I'm talking about, just fear of not enough. I think that's the greatest fear. I'm not enough. I don't have enough. I don't love enough. I don't get enough love. I don't have enough friends. Well, give it all up. Because remember, what you fear grows. So feed it trust and faith. I talk about fear. The first thing to do is to recognize it. When you recognize fear, as it says in the Bible, as soon as you recognize it and you stop giving it power, you are empowered. You've taken it away. As soon as you recognize it and identify it, then you get to choose. You can choose to live calmly in balance, or you can choose to think the world owes you a living. But that's not true. The world owes you kindness. The world owes you love. You make a living with what you love. So I think about our community and how our lives need to hear the message that love is the way. Faith is the path. And more than often now, faith is something people are even arguing about that too. We all achieve a level of faith at a different in a different way, but we're all going the same way. So I have faith in this philosophy. Somebody has faith in the Buddha. Somebody has faith in the Quran. Somebody has faith in the Bible. They're all the very same. And I pray that one day we can all live in peace knowing that that path is the same for each and every one of us. One of the things we talk about in our affirmation is everything for the greatest and highest good. When we do an affirmation, you can say, I want $1 million, but if it's not for your greatest and highest good, you're probably not going to get it. And it doesn't mean you don't have abundance, because abundance has nothing to do with $1 million. So we need to recognize that we don't have to do anything. We have to give it up. We have to release all our fears and live in faith. So I can't say enough about our 5 steps, which is part of this too, but it still is these 5 steps, Ernest Holmes says. The first thing is recognizing there is a power. You can call it God, Buddha, Allah, whatever you call it. There is a power. And because we're created from that power, we are the children of God. We have everything of that. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were saying, well, what is it about, it was at a concert the other day. What is it about your faith that's different? I said, well, I think the biggest difference is that instead of having faith in God, we have the faith of God. And that really threw her for a loop. She sat and thought about that for about an hour and a half. And at the end, she said to me, oh my gosh, how empowering is that to think I have the faith of God. So that means I don't need anybody outside of my own faith to bring me what I need in my life. So that is the prayer. There is one Spirit, one God. We're all one with it. If we embrace that truth, that everything is working out for the greatest good of all concerned, we can say, I let it go, and I'm grateful, and so it is. Fear also is such a great motivator. Sometimes when you're fearful, you clean your house, you also drive your car too fast, you stay in and you might read a book. So fear can be a really great motivator, but only in small doses, because pretty soon it gets bigger than your faith. So we want to eliminate that fear. There's so many different acronyms for fear. One of the ones I really like is false expectations appearing real. Because most of what, Winnie the Pooh says, most of the things, I've had some terrible things happen to me, most of which never really happened. I just made them up because it was a better story. So false expectations appearing real. In the workshop I taught called Fear to Faith, there was this releasing ceremony they used at the end, and that's the one I did at the beginning. And I really think it's so true. I wrote a couple for us. So the first one was, I'll just do it, that I release my belief. I'm going to do like lack. Let's say that. I release my belief in lack. But also, what are you doing to keep your belief in lack? I release my need to try and attract what's not for my greatest and highest good. Because even though you say you're releasing your belief in lack, you're still walking around saying, I'm broke. No, I can't do that. I don't have any money. So you have to not just release the word, you have to release all the things you're doing to keep feeding that word. So that's the other part. And once you're open and your heart's open, then you're grateful. And in Fear to Faith, it says, God is the abundance I am. If that's not comfortable for you, you can say, God is the Spirit I am. Spirit is the abundance I am. So we're going to do a few. I want you to put your hands on your heart, right hand over left. And I want you to open your right one. I release my belief in separation. And where did I put that? I release my need to create harmony. I am grateful. God is the oneness that I am. And one more time. I release my belief in lack. I release all my needs. I am grateful. God is the abundance I am. I release my belief in disease. I release my need to focus on healing all the time. I am grateful. God is the health that I am. And then, I'm sure there's some that you guys want to think about. So I'm going to sing a little chant, and you guys just make them your own. I release the past and allow the healing power of love into my life. I release the past and allow the healing power of love into my life. You can sing it with me. I release the past and allow the healing power of love into my life. In closing, I claim and know that God is peace, power, and purpose right here and right now. I embrace my gifts and share them with my world. There is no spot where God is not, and I release all fear. I walk through the valley of the shadow of faith and come out on the other side in love with myself, my world, my fiancé. And I am Reverend Joanne Faith, peace, and love, Boruck. And I wish you a blessed, blessed February filled with love. Thank you.